Thank you so much for the opportunity to present on some of the ways that we at the Philadelphia Education Fund have been um, communicating to others the work of the Pathways to Adult Success, to uh, to leverage a little bit of what Greg said when he was introducing the website, which by the way is fantastic, such great redesign, is I think a lot of what we try and do is get into the mindset of the Pathways to Adult Success, and a lot of our work is about infusing it not just in the work that we do directly with students and educators, but also to the larger community in our networks. And so I'm going to share a couple of different ways that we engage with PASS, including how we've applied it to our own programming, how we share that knowledge, and then some of the exploration that we are hoping to do in the future. So one is our junior toolkit, which we received some support from the Everyone Graduate Centers to support the development of this toolkit. And you can see it's beautifully designed, but what it serves to do is for the juniors in our high school program, which we serve from 9th through 12th grade, they have an opportunity to work on one of the key behavior areas around agency by taking out of our hands, which is pretty directed list of activities that we want students to do. They can self-guide for themselves, planning from August through the close of the academic year, what steps and actions they're going to take and how to take them, and then make notes and kind of capture their engagement. So that's one of the ways that looking at Pathways to Adult Success, we've explored how do we develop more agency in our students so that they can be successful when they ultimately end up on a campus. We've also looked to do a lot of knowledge sharing. So you'll recognize the gentleman all the way to the left. That's Bob. Bob joined us at a monthly speaker series that we do called Education First Compact. And the focus this time was on improving student attendance through the new ABCs, agency, belonging, and now I see the word is connectedness. We're using connection at the time. So we had this event in December, and it served as much to speak to the audience we normally have at our monthly speaker series, which depending on the day can be 80 to depending on the month can be 80 to 100 people who are all education stakeholders. In this instance, we spoke to that audience, but then later we convened with the launch of a smaller group, which was the beginnings of the College Access and Success Ecosystem, which is a collective impact strategy that we have wanted to launch for some time. And this was a way to introduce the Pathways to Adult Success, the thinking, the concept of these ABCs to this larger audience, and ultimately to this more narrow audience that will look to implement some of that learning in the work that they do with their own students and or educators. So I mentioned the College Access and Success Ecosystem. So it's a collective impact strategy that arose out of the fact that many years ago when I first started at Philadelphia Education Fund, I asked our team to do a landscape analysis so we could understand how many providers were out there, the nature of how they were providing college and career advising. And we discovered there were 65. And then when we spoke to the School District of Philadelphia, they said there were 300 registered with them through their school partnerships office. And so that really begged the question, why aren't we having greater impact if there are so many providers out there serving our students? And we worked alongside the school district to design this collective impact strategy and receive some multi-year funding to launch it. And so the first launch was that December 2023 meeting that we had that Bob attended. And as of June, we have 60 member organizations, which is really exciting. And they include members who themselves do collective work, action work. So it lets us kind of leverage through a multiplier effect the opportunity to work in a collective way to improve outcomes for students in Philadelphia. Key to that work is that we really want to make sure we're educating our members around the work of Pathways to Adult Success and the tools and frameworks that are out there to inform the work. So I'll talk about evolving opportunities. The way that our collective impact strategy is organized is we serve as the backbone organization. We have a steering committee form that's made up of the chairs of the 3 working groups that we have. One is on-time high school graduation, another is on track to college graduation, and then data and evaluation. And the data and evaluation team is spending a lot of time with the school district to understand what we know right now are largely lagging indicators around student performance. And what we're working towards is, in order to be predictive, which is what I think PASS is really trying to encourage all of us to do, to start to examine how we can be supportive, both of the district and the district be supportive of providers around identifying what are key leading indicators so that we can actually improve outcomes for students by making adjustments and course corrections during the course of the year, not waiting till the end of the year and understand whether or not we won or failed at serving young people. I made a note that with the new website, we're definitely going to do an orientation and presentation of the website at our next collective action meeting, because I think others will find this incredibly encouraging and useful in the collective work, but also with our evaluators. So we will be hiring an evaluator to support the design of the ways that we evaluate what kind of impact we're actually having in a collective manner. Some of the other opportunities that I see for us is that you'll see on the website, there's a link to Philly Goes to College, which is our online curated portal for college access. It is better than Google, I say, because it is, if you're in the Philadelphia area, it tells you everything you need to do that you are eligible for and can access locally. So when it comes to scholarships or free advising services, info sessions, only Philadelphia serving programs are listed on the site. And the opportunity that we have here is to examine, could we start to introduce some of the, if we want more of our students to have agency, to start to introduce some of the language of Pathways to Adult Success onto the site so that students can examine, are they trending towards a place where they can be successful and ensure that they're going to be able to graduate from college, not just attend. So I'm examining things like, could we do a did you know, more predictive analytics or predictive indicators element onto this site. We also have on the site animated instructional videos, but we're including more direct videos. So we have a FAFSA Talks series on the site. We've also done some interviewing of individuals that students will find exciting. So like Grammy Award winning local artists, TV personalities, etc., so that young people will understand their path to their own success, how they got there, how college factored in for them. So the potential here as well to introduce for students, what does it mean to be successful in college? What can I be doing in high school to up my chances? So since I saw that this video is actually linked on the site, I'm not going to allocate time to it so that we have more time for Q&A for either our organization or for the collective. But I did want to call out our Scholars Advantage program as another example of opportunities to help students with the new ABCs. So this program is a stipended summer program where students, instead of having to choose to work during the summer, which many of our students need to do, they can choose to invest in themselves in an academic and college and career enrichment program, which spans over 4 weeks. And through that engagement, they can enter one of 4 academic pathways, and we also included trades as one of those academic pathways because we want more and more students to recognize that you actually have to do a level of preparation in order to enter the trades, more high-level math, some high-level sciences. And a lot of our young people don't understand that. And so they assume that it's just slinging a hammer and they're good to go. And so we want them to be more aware of the preparation that's necessary for those kinds of opportunities. But the way that I think Scholars Advantage really successfully achieves the new ABCs is that it's a program that's where the stipend is used to drive attendance. And so students earn their attendance, their stipend by making sure they arrive so that they're attending, but also that they arrive on time. So we give them a kind of a margin for error. And if they still come, we reduce the amount of stipend they get for the day. If they arrive on time, they earn the full stipend. They also have, the stipend allows for them, they earn the stipend by attending certain field trips and career experiences, as well as the academic experience. But I think the most exciting part of it is also it lets them see how important kind of their course performance is, because they'll begin to understand the connection between what they're studying academically and what opportunities it opens up for them in terms of their career interests. So I mentioned the trades program, and one of the stories I always tell is, having worked in real estate development prior to this, is I knew how many young people don't really understand what is required in order to enter our trades. And so we did have the head of our carpenters union come and speak to the students. And he mentioned that it was a simple math test for their entrance exam. And I asked him to describe that math test because I know it's not arithmetic. And so when he was able to describe it as algebra and geometry and high level math, it's more of an awakening for students, like, oh, I really want to be a carpenter. And if I want to join the trades, I need to pay attention in these classes. So we're really excited about, that's one of my favorite programs that we do, Scholars Advantage, because it's such a growth period for these young people, but also because it really does drive in them a sense of connection to their own academic journey and their schools. So I'll conclude there, and thank you so much for your attention.
That was wonderful. And again, a lot of information, well delivered at a compressed time.